Tell me, darling, could we run away? We could hide away by the cactus desert blue. I can see it just a mile away from this crowded place. I could lay there next to you.
Hey friends, welcome back to round 2 of our Battle of the Boy Bands. And thank you guys for tuning in to our channel, Best Freaking Friends Forever. So again, we're going to do round 2. So we are talking about New Kids on the Block, and we are talking about 98 Degrees today. So we'll start with New Kids on the Block. And so we'll talk about their members. So Donnie Wahlberg, Jordan Knight, Joey McIntyre, Danny Wood, and Jonathan Knight are the members. They had a couple albums. Their first album was called New Kids on the Block. The second one, which we're going to be covering today, is Hanging Tough. Then Merry Merry Christmas, Step by Step, Face the Music, The Block, and 10. So again, we're going to talk about Hangin' Tough, which was released August 12th of 1988 by Columbia Records. So this was kind of like, I don't know, I consider them one of the first boy bands that really came out, I feel.
Yes.
They kind of started the craze.
Yep. Well, and I think one thing that helped them get really big is merchandise. I guess they had a lot of merch. And I don't know why, and I maybe know how, I had a New Kids on the Block sleeping bag. And I think maybe I got it from my cousin. So I don't know. But I did have at least, and out of all these bands that we're talking about, they're the only one that I had merchandise of.
Yeah. Yeah, now that you say that, I don't remember there being like a whole lot of merchandise, especially for like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Like, I don't remember there being, I mean, they had t-shirts, of course, but like,
well,
I don't remember. But I never had any of it.
Right. Well, I know NSYNC did, only because I had a girl that I went to school with, graduated with her. She was obsessed with NSYNC, and she had NSYNC everything. She had pencils, lunchbox, books, book bag. Like, if it had NSYNC on it, she had it. You know, so I'm surprised. It'd be interesting to see what her room looked like, because I know, like, I know that a lot of these bands were on like bedspreads and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and of course you had like Teen Beat and, you know, those magazines where you could get, like, they had the free posters in them.
Mm-hmm.
So you could put their picture all over the place too. So
I don't know, Hangin' Tough. I didn't like it. I'm surprised they scored.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, and their singles, I feel like they had "Please Don't Go, Girl." They had "You Got the Right Stuff," which I think was that's the one I remember, and like the dance moves too.
Yes.
And then "I'll Be Loving You Forever." I think that was. Then they had "Hangin' Tough" and "Cover Girl," which I guess I don't even remember "Cover Girl," but I guess it peaked at number 2 on like the Hot list. The Billboard list. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, "Please Don't Go, Girl" peaked at 10. "You Got the Right Stuff" peaked at 3. Or "I'll Be Loving You Forever." That was their first number 1. "I'll Be Loving You Forever." But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It wasn't one of my favorite albums, but well, and even today, I don't know if you've watched Fuller House, but they do that dance to their song.
Yeah.
Because I think DJ is obsessed with them, or her and Kimmy, even to this day they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
and this was their second studio album. So, yeah.
Yeah, they, I don't know. They had a rough start. They didn't really, until they got a new manager, and then they kind of remarketed them, so to speak. And then they kind of flew from there. And I guess Donnie was more of like the rougher of the group, because I guess like he would, like, one time he threw a TV out the window or something and it was like, "We're rock stars." I don't know. He sounded like the most obnoxious out of the group from what I could gather.
Well, I've watched the Wahlburgers, and when they were younger, like especially him and Mark, I think him and Mark were definitely her two like the mom's problem children, where they were always in trouble with something or doing something, and what now? It was kind of that. So I could definitely see that, honestly. Yeah. Well, and I think Joey was he was young. I mean, he was definitely kind of like Nick Carter and Backstreet Boys. He was way younger than all of them.
Right. Well, he was 13. I think he was maybe like just at 13. Like I think he started at 12 and then he just turned 13 or something like that. Because I'm bad. I don't really know much about this group. I didn't listen to this stuff. My family was more into country, so I was a huge Shania Twain fan. So, and then I love musicals. So I had Grease and I had the soundtrack to Titanic. Of course, I listened to a lot of Christian music back then. So a lot of this stuff wasn't in my album book or whatever you want to call it, my CD case. These weren't, oh man, that's an old thing to say.
Well, they start, yeah. I mean, to get a CD nowadays when you can get off of,
right,
iTunes and all of that. I mean, that's like what saved them too. The success, and their success was due to the emergence of airplay on the radio and music videos for their singles.
Yeah. Well, and so when I was listening to this album and I was watching the videos for it, I kept saying, who's this kid? There's this little child on here. I told Tony, I was like, there's this child singing. I said, who is this guy? And Tony's like, I don't know. I've never seen him before. And so Tony looks it up. He goes, oh, that's Joey McIntyre. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, right? And I think yeah.
Putting the group together, they did say that they wanted somebody younger like Michael Jackson. Because when I was listening to it, it was like, this is very similar to Little Mikey. So, or Little Michael, as they called him. So, yeah, they were kind of trying to get that Jackson 5 feel in a way. So that's why they did pick him. And I guess, because he was the youngest, they kind of bullied him and hazed him in a way. And I think Donnie was the ringleader of that ordeal. So Joey, I guess Joey was on his way home one time from, working with them, and he was really upset and he quit. So Donnie called him and was like, we just want you to move. We don't want you to just stand there. And Donnie said from that moment on that Joey did. He proved himself, basically. So I don't know. I get it, though. You're young and you're sitting there and you're nervous and you just want to prove yourself. And so you're like, I get it. I get why he would, and Donnie not understanding that makes me mad. So, but, once they talked it out, I think that him quitting kind of helped that out, because, they kind of were like, okay, let's be mature here and let's address the situation. And that's what happened. And they were fine after that.
And I can see that with Donnie, because Donnie, he has a pretty strong personality.
Oh, but Marky Mark was briefly in the band.
He was briefly. Yep.
Yeah, but he definitely did the world a favor by going out on his own. Marky Mark is, oh my goodness.
Well, he had a band too, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, or something like that. Yeah. For a little bit, I think. I think everybody remembers him from his Calvin Klein modeling.
Yeah. What a cutie. He was in the movie, I'm pretty sure it's called Crush, with Reese Witherspoon, and I shouldn't like that movie, but I do, because he's very abusive and possessive in that movie, and I like that movie. It's a good movie. All right, so how they score,
Well, and we need to do our favorite song. Did you have a favorite song on the album?
Nah, not really.
I don't either. I have to say, none. Honestly, I didn't write anything down, and I don't know. None of them stuck out to me.
Yeah, not me either. I don't know. Maybe, what is it, Right Stuff, or You Got the Right Stuff?
Yeah, but I think that's just because we've heard it so much. Yeah, that we're familiar with it. I'll Be Loving You Forever. It's decent, but I don't know.
Yeah, we're probably gonna get a lot of hate for giving a lot of hate.
It's not our cup of tea. That's all.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's do Michael Jackson. Let's do some icons. That's what I'd like to talk about. These boy bands really weren't it for me. Anyway, so album, I scored them with the 3.
I also gave them a 3.
Okay, so music video, I gave them a 3.
I did too. I think and Heart Throb, what'd you give them for Heart Throb?
3.
Me too. So they got 3s down the board for me.
For me too. And Shelley and I didn't, like, we scored these on our own. Like, we didn't.
Yeah, we did not talk about them before we
So
scored.
it's funny how we kind of scored them very similar. You know, really. Now the next two bands, those will be interesting. Yeah, so you'll see that we didn't collab on these. We kind of did our own thing.
No, definitely not.
But the thing for me was they weren't bad. They weren't great. You know, it was, I don't know. It wasn't like one or the other. That's why I kind of scored them down the middle all the way through. That's why I did. So I don't know.
Well, they're one of those bands that keep reinventing themselves, so to speak. Because, I mean, they're relevant today. They have toured today with Backstreet Boys, and they're still making, I think they're still making music. I'm not sure. I know Donnie, I feel like I've seen new videos with him in them. Like, they're all older, obviously.
Yeah, I think they came back together, was it them that they came back together after 16 years? Or no,
Probably.
that was
They're touring now. Like, they had a big tour with Backstreet Boys, 3, 4, 5 years ago, or maybe even sooner than that. I don't know. They've done a lot with them. They've collabed a lot with them, which I think is pretty smart. Actually, you know,
can't blame them. So they got a total of 18. So,
yep.
And now we'll go to 98 Degrees. Nick Lachey, Drew Lachey, Justin Jeffrey, Jeff Timmons.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the members. I didn't get their ages or anything like that. I couldn't find a whole lot of background on them because Nick Lachey, because his story outshined that whole group. I think that's why it's hard to find anything on them.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the 98 Degrees and Rising album. They had 98 Degrees, Revelation, This Christmas, and 2.0.
Yep.
Yep. So we did 98 Degrees and Rising. It came out October 20th of 98. I couldn't find totals, like dollar-wise, what they made, but they that record sold 4 million, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
My favorite song on the album was True to Your Heart.
That's a good one. Mine was I Do Cherish You, but the True to Your Heart, they did that with Stevie Wonder, which was pretty cool, and they did that for Mulan.
All right. So for the album, I gave it a 1.
See, I gave it a 3. I was, it wasn't, like, to me, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, spectacular.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't care for it. It's bad.
All their singles, like The Hardest Thing, Because of You, True to Your Heart, and I do like all of those songs.
Yeah. I figured I would have given them higher. Well, so music video, I did give them a 4. I thought their music videos were pretty good. I really liked that one because then the whole time they're with the same girl. And at the end, they all go to get married, and here she's with Dustin Diamond. I don't know. I thought it was cute. But yeah, I like their videos for the most part. I think they actually. Oh no, yeah. So them and Hanson did pretty good with the music videos for me. And then Heart Throb, I gave them a 5. Oh, did you do your music video? Sorry, did I skip you?
I gave them a 3 for music videos. They were good. And then Heart Throb, what'd you give? You gave a 5. I gave them a 4. But they were, out of all of the boy bands, they probably were all together, probably look-wise, they probably were the best looking group out of all of them. So I probably should have given them a 5. But because all together, they really got some hunky people to be in that, they are.
Yeah, so let's see, I gave them a 10, Shelley gave them a 10, that gives them a 20.
So that means they're the winners between them and New Kids.
Yep, that is our winner, 98 Degrees.
Yep, so that means, who would have thought?
Because I figured
this is really big, yeah. I don't know, but I was surprised with the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC too, for myself, just myself.
Yeah, but haters are gonna hate, so leave it in the comments. I want to hear.
Oh, who's your band? Yeah, how would you score these two? Yeah, leave it in the comments.
I want you to argue with us, and maybe we'll go back and we'll revamp the videos. Yep. All right, so that's it. All right, guys, we thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for commenting below on who your favorite band is and why. And until next time, that's it in a nutshell.